Good morning, everyone. My name is Eva Gouwens and I am the CEO of Fairphone, and I'd like to welcome you to another very special live stream event. And over the years we've been around, I've heard in many different variations over and over, what Fairphone is trying to do, that's impossible, that's too hard. And I'm standing here in front of you again today because challenging the impossible is as important and relevant as ever. So today is a big day for us, not only because we want to introduce you to our next step towards fairer electronics, but also because this is another chance for us to demonstrate that things can be different, that the system needs positive disruption. So we're excited to show you what we've come up with. We've been on our path for positive change for quite a while now, and the progress we've made actually makes us hopeful, and yet there's always more work to be done. This industry is geared towards selling the latest innovations. But the strange thing is that smartphones have become more and more similar while we're told that they're more different. And this works for the big tech giants. The products that we buy are developed to use and not to recycle or repair or reuse. So we're forced to discard our products once they're broken because we can't open them or have spare parts available to repair them. And if you think about this, it can't be a surprise that e-waste has become one of the fastest growing waste streams worldwide. So let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture. The electronics industry's impact on people and planet, and how Fairphone is working to break with these old habits.
In 2013, Fairphone was founded on a disruptive idea: to change the electronics industry from the inside. Since then, we've been challenging the dominant story about what's right, what's normal, and what's possible. Our vision has always been a world where care for people and planet is a natural part of doing business, where products are built to last and we think in terms of resources rather than waste, because the current short-term way of thinking is one that the world can no longer afford. To get there, we started by making a phone. Smartphones are our daily companions, but have you ever stopped to consider who made your phone or what's in it? Behind that screen are a lot of different materials that people all over the world have worked on. Let's rewind and see. Back in the box, back to the store, and back to the shipping facility. On a cargo ship or plane, back to the factory. Here, it goes through the hands of hundreds of skilled workers assembling the parts. All of these parts come from suppliers all over the world, and they get their materials from smelters and refiners who get it from mining companies who employ people who literally dig it out of the ground. So, the electronics industry has its fair share of challenges, and buying one new phone takes as much energy as using one for an entire decade. But the system is built to always sell the next innovation. The more smartphones that become similar, the more we're told that they're different. And this is still working for the tech giants. So consumers throw away millions of phones every year because they're designed for use and not reuse and recycling. And that's why it's hard to open them, repair them, or remove broken parts. But all of this doesn't mean it can't be different, because it can. The most sustainable smartphone is the one that lasts. So that's exactly how we designed the Fairphone. Its unique modularity lets you repair it yourself or switch out a spare part in no time. It's made from fair and recycled materials with care for people and our planet. The journey has not been easy by any means. Over and over, we've been told that it couldn't be done. There's no demand for a fairer phone, they said. But turns out there is. And it's still growing. So the journey continues.
So, here it is, the Fairphone 4 5G. With each phone we've launched, we raised the bar on sustainability. And I'm proud to show you today the Fairphone 4 5G. Our next milestone on our journey towards fairer electronics. We are pioneering a unique holistic approach towards sustainability, giving equal weight to the environmental and social side of the issues. With each Fairphone we introduced the industry to our every time even higher standards of fairness. Fairphone 1 marked our debut in the market. We were the first smartphone company to focus on sourcing responsibly sourced materials and focusing on creating an ecosystem around repairability. We made our spare parts online available in our shop. Fairphone 2 actually was a revolutionary concept, the first modular phone in the world, focused towards repairability, longevity and even upgradability. And with Fairphone 3, we showed the industry that we could scale. We widened in the industry and proved there is a viable business model for sustainable smartphones. Now, here we are. We're proud to introduce to you the Fairphone 4 5G. And I would say this is probably the most sustainable phone in the world. It's a future-proof device that is sustainable, long-lasting and fair. Fairphone 4 is the visible and tangible result of many invisible decisions and work that actually determine the product and make the difference. With this phone, we wanted to take our impact agenda to the next level by redefining what true longevity means to us. We created a device that remains relevant for the years to come, and we made the next step to circularity in all elements of the ecosystem around our device. In our supply chain, we started working on including 6 more responsibly sourced materials. That brings the total to 14. And it's not visible in the device, but it does make a big difference somewhere else in the world. We also want the Fairphone 4 to be a device for positive change, embraced by our customers. And with them in mind, we created an attractive, sustainable offer with new, sustainable features that are relevant to them. Plus, we saw the changing technology, included that in this device, to remain also technically relevant in the long run. So altogether, it will be a joy to keep your Fairphone in use longer. Not only for the Fairphone 4, also for our Fairphone 1, 2, 3 and 3 Plus users, we will keep our promise of long-lasting support. Let's sit down with Mikel, our product management lead, and our co-founder to get a bit more insights on the details of this device. Hi, Miguel.
Hey, Eva.
Hello, everyone. So here we'll talk a bit further about Fairphone 4. We developed Fairphone 4 based on the values we always use to develop our devices. And I would like to discuss with you, why is Fairphone 4 so special? What makes it so unique?
So this time we took our goal of longevity one step further. And we did that by offering a 5 years warranty of our device, and that really shows our commitment to keep our devices working safely and securely for the years to come.
So what about software support and spare part availability? We know that is important.
Yeah. Well, the 5 years warranty, that comes on top of us guaranteeing software support until 2025, which includes Android upgrades for Android 12 and Android 13. But we want to push it beyond that, and we aim for software support until the end of 2027, and that would include Android 14 and Android 15. But software, it's one side of the coin. The other side is spare parts, of course. And with this 5 years warranty, we at least will offer spare parts availability for 6 years.
Whoa,
yeah,
quite
it is
a lot.
A big thing. Yeah.
And all of this to make sure that people will keep their phone in use longer, to actually beat those short life cycles of 2 to 3 years towards 5 years.
Indeed, indeed. And that's not only good for customers, for the customer experience, but also for the environmental footprint. So if you think that most of the environmental footprint, so around 70%, is in the production of phones, if we extend the longevity, if we extend the lifetime of our products from 2 to 3 to 5 years or even beyond, we are talking about a reduction in CO2 footprint of around 30%.
Yeah. Speaking of environmental benefits, one of the things I'm quite excited about with the Fairphone 4 is that we're the first e-waste neutral device. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Sure. E-waste or electronic waste neutral in our case means that we will compensate 100% of the phones that we put in the market. So that means for every phone that we sell, we will compensate, we will collect an equal amount of electronic waste. This electronic waste can come from Africa, from countries where there's no recycling infrastructure in place, as we've been doing in the previous years, but also from our recycling program in Europe, from all the markets where we are present and put our products in. Yeah.
Yeah.
And with this, we want to keep on setting an example for the industry, showing that it is possible to be commercially successful while alleviating some of the biggest problems in the world, like electronic waste. And not only compensating e-waste, but also, and we've been talking about this before, making sure that our devices are used for longer. Then that's also another way we are reducing e-waste, indeed.
Yeah. And that was a central theme in developing Fairphone 4. On top of that, we have our unique modular design.
Mm-hmm. So with Fairphone 4, what we aimed to do is to bring that modularity to the next level. So really making sure that the only part that you need to replace is the part that is broken. With Fairphone 3, there were modules that contained different components. With Fairphone 4, we broke that down even in smaller pieces, so that the customers and our repair center can surely just substitute the part that is failing. And that's indeed, again, very good for keeping CO2 emissions down and electronic waste down. There are other two things I'd like to mention here on modularity, because it's a little bit of a trade-off. It is a modular device, but it's also very good with drop tests. And we've been testing Fairphone 4 for military drop tests, which makes it very tough and resistant. But also, for the first time, Fairphone 4 is a modular device with an so-called IP rating. It's IP54, which means that it is weather protected, so you can, with not being worried, you can take it out and you can be in the rain and it will be fine, even though we keep that modularity and dismantleability and repairability in the phone. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But Eva, design, we talked a lot about design, and maybe you can tell us a little bit more about the inside of the phone and a little bit more about the materials of the phone.
Yeah, well, I don't need to tell you that Fair Materials is in our DNA at Fairphone, and we're currently in a transition towards a circular economy, but we believe it's also key that we keep on investing also in the materials where mining will be the remain source and the remain supplier for the coming decades, and not only focus on recycled sources. So we will keep on investing in all kind of projects that we initiate or that we support, to actually make sure that there is on the long term also an investment in proper mining and good livelihoods around those mining facilities. And our approach towards sustainability is not one wiping our street clean and make sure that we avoid all the risks, but actually one where we focus on driving impact and really creating change also on the mine sites.
Yeah, Eva, and that was already in the materials roadmap that we published not so long ago, right?
Yeah, indeed. And what we did in the material roadmap is we analyzed 50 materials that are in the smartphone, and we narrowed that down towards a short list of 40 materials where we know the electronics industry has a big footprint and where there are also big opportunities to really increase the working conditions and work on issues in the supply chain. And we've gone from 8 to 6, to 6 additionally, so to 14 in total. And now here we go, because now I'm going to brag a bit about all the fair materials to start with gold. I don't need to tell that we were the first company to actually integrate fair trade gold in our supply chain. Now as well, rare earth minerals, where we actually, the Fairphone 4 contains recycled rare earth minerals, conflict-free tungsten. And then on tin, Fairphone 4 contains 90% of recycled tin. And on the plastics, the plastics of the back cover, they're 100% recycled plastics. On cobalt and lithium, that I more or less take together, we're really a leader in partnerships, and on fair cobalt, but also now on responsible lithium, we try to drive partnerships with bigger brands to set up the right sourcing sites and then integrate that into our supply chain. On aluminium, also in the frame, we work with the Aluminium Stewardship Initiative. That is a certification that, and actually an organization that sets the standard and also certifies and therefore builds the foundation for a fair aluminium supply chain. And the last one I would like to mention is magnesium, where we have 30% recycled magnesium actually in the plate that makes it easy for your display to be just behind the display. So altogether quite a list where we can be proud of.
Wow, Eva, that's quite a list.
Yeah, it is. And hey, there's even more to come, because we will continue to work on integrating more responsibly sourced materials in the Fairphone 4. And then on top of that, let's not forget about the fair manufacturing. We keep on focusing to expand our decent work and living wage programs with our key suppliers, and to keep on expanding the implementation of these. Miguel, and now you again. What can you tell us about the tech specs of the Fairphone 4?
Sure, Eva. Let me start by saying that Fairphone 4 is our most future-proof, sustainable, repairable, and durable phone yet. It offers all the technical features we expect from a premium smartphone. It is also our first 5G device, an innovation that is essential for any future-proof phone. The technology might not be important for the majority of consumers out there, but if users want to use the phone long-term, it is important that their device is ready for it. Fairphone 4 has update specs such as Android 11, but also 2 high-quality cameras of 48 megapixels and a selfie camera of 25 megapixels. Of course, as you are used for other Fairphones, it's a dual SIM device, but this time including eSIM. Chipset, it has a powerful Snapdragon 750 with 6 and 8 GB of RAM. It includes also fast charging, and it has a replaceable battery that can be charged to up to 50% in less than 30 minutes. And of course, enough storage for thousands of images with our 2 versions of 128 and 256 gigabytes. All in all, it's a sustainable choice for conscious consumers who want to make a bold choice for positive change when buying a smartphone for their everyday life. But let me just get a little bit deeper into some of these specs. The device features our highest quality camera to date, designed to let users focus on what matters the most: image quality and true-to-life colors in every frame and every setting. It has a fast autofocus with laser accuracy and an advanced image stabilization for smooth video recording. The camera software as well makes it for an intuitive, effortless experience. The camera also comes, and we are very proud of this, with very special Fairphone filters to allow users to customize their images. Fairphone 4 has a 6.3-inch full HD Plus display with Pixelworks technology, which makes it for a smooth and immersive viewing experience. The display is made from Corning Gorilla Glass 5 for maximum drop and scratch resistance for durability.
Thanks, Miguel, for the product specifications and knowing that it was quite a journey to develop the Fairphone 4. Maybe it's nice if you could share a few of the background stories and the design choices we made along the way.
Sure, Eva. Let me tell you a little bit more about the design choices that we made and some of the little stories of this year of development. Let me start with design. So Fairphone 4 had to be distinctive, yet stylish and sleek and well-rounded, allowing it to sit well in your hand with a smooth rounding and a smooth back cover with this beautiful side-mounted fingerprint sensor. So we did that. But also, most of you will notice the size of the device, and we get this question very often. And actually, the size of the product is really determined by the size of the display. This display is a 6.3 inches large, and you may think that's the decision, the display itself. But the truth is that because we want to keep our spare parts available as long as possible, we need to assure supply. And to assure supply, we need to remain around the average in the market to make sure that we can get that long-term engagement with the suppliers. With our 5 years warranty, it means that we need to have spare parts for nearly 6 years or even longer than that. Luckily, having a larger screen is also good for customers. So with our Pixelworks technology, also means that you can enjoy media on this larger screen a little bit more in an immersive manner. Another important point that we get asked a lot is about the thickness of the device, another metric that is widely used in the industry. While we wanted to keep our device as thin as possible, surely, we did not want to compromise on repairability and durability to drops. So we made many different prototypes and carried out many different design studies to end up in this well-balanced design that sits well in your hand. And we are so proud that it feels so sturdy and high quality. Next, I'd like to talk a little bit about the internals of the phone, because the true beauty comes from within. And this device is beautiful inside as well. As usual, we use no glue or no complex screws, so every part is easily accessible and replaceable. Good for the planet, but also good for your pockets, because a display or a battery repair becomes something that you can do yourself at a fraction of the price of any other phone repairs. I'll take the battery for a second. And if you look closely inside, you will see some funky antennas here. Making a repairable, weatherproof 5G device was definitely a challenge. Fairphone has experienced rapid growth in the last few years, and when we launched Fairphone 3, we had to comply only with the technical requirements of 2 to 3 operators across Europe. But now we have jumped into 19, so we really plan to over the next months to launch with 19 operators. This means that we have to onboard them all and work through thousands of different network requirements. That's why the design of the antennas is so important. The design had to accommodate 8 different specially designed antennas, balancing design touches to make it look less daunting and technical. Because for us, it's really important that repairability stays accessible for everyone. Another challenge I'd like to mention is the 100% recycled back cover. With Fairphone 4, we wanted to offer different colors, but the truth is that the base material for this 100% recycled plastic is pretty dark, so it is difficult to have lighter colors on it. So our engineering team had to work with suppliers and do several iterations to get to those different colors while maintaining the 100% recycled plastic, but also making sure that it withstands our challenging drop tests. And lastly, but not less important, we did all this in the midst of a global pandemic that was at the backdrop of our Fairphone design and production. That was quite a challenge for a scale-up like us. We designed the device with a Swedish design agency called Above and our production partner T2M in China. To design and produce the phone, it's not only these two partners. We also work with many other externals that help us with Fairphone 4. Our engineering team is in Taipei, operators and telecom providers across Europe, technology companies across the globe, including USA, Canada, Japan, Finland, Germany, UK. I can name a long list. It has been surely challenging in a time where travel is restricted and video conferences are the norm. COVID made things a little bit difficult, preventing us from having quality face-to-face conversations or to, for example, review samples of products and colors and finishings, which makes things difficult and increases the amount of parcels that we need to ship across the world. Our Taiwanese and our Dutch teams had to come with inventive ways to communicate and align and sometimes hold very long working sessions online. Just like this launch, we would have liked to welcome you all in this office, but instead we are this time again online. So that was some of the stories behind the production of Fairphone 4 and the design, and now back to Eva for some remarks.
Yeah, I'm going to talk a bit about the commercial part of the presentation. Fairphone 4 is available for pre-order per today. We have a grey version for 579 euros with 6 GB RAM and 128 GB internal storage. And we have a grey, green and green speckled version with 8 GB RAM and 256 GB of internal storage for 649 euros. And we're further expanding to a wider audience, but we're also expanding our portfolio. So along with the accessories and the spare parts for Fairphone 4, we will also launch Fairphone's first true wireless earbuds, and they will contain 30% recycled plastics, and Fairtrade Gold is integrated into its supply chain. All new products will be released to the public across Europe per the 25th of October. And we will distribute them via our expanded distribution network. The product will be available in over 2,000 stores across Europe. So you can go to your local store and try the Fairphone 4, the other products yourself. And we keep working with our existing partners and with strategic partners in our key countries like Orange France and Deutsche Telekom. Yeah, Miguel, we're going to wrap it up. I think with Fairphone 4 we really pushed ourselves to achieve the next level of impact and innovating where it really matters, where it counts. And the entire team worked incredibly hard to make this, in my view, the most sustainable phone in the world. And I believe it will be a joy to use this phone for everyone who actually thinks sustainability is relevant. I believe there's never been such a powerful, sustainable device. And it's a device for everyone who is ready for a new device and not ready to make any compromises anymore. For you, if you don't want to follow the herd, but make your own independent choices and drive positive change. Yeah, well, thanks. Thanks everyone for joining us for the announcement for Fairphone 4. And we will now go to Monique and Wayne to answer all your questions in the Q&A. Hello.
Hey.
Hey.
Eva.
Hi.
Please take a seat and join Wayne and Monique. Let me introduce Wayne and Monique and myself. I am Nout, I'm the CFO of Fairphone, and I am moderating this Q&A. First of all, I would like to welcome all of you, obviously, all our Fairphone followers on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook, on the website. So we are really grateful to have you here, and I hope that you are as excited as we are with this new Fairphone launch. Wayne is our VP product, Monique is our Director of Impact Innovation, and Eva is obviously our CEO, but you have seen her before. And we would like to answer all your questions, as many as possible. For that, we have some questions on a screen that I will read and address to assign to one of my colleagues. The first question I would like to have addressed is, what does electronic waste exactly means? I want to address that to you.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Nout. So what does electronic waste neutral mean? So indeed, we are very proud that it's the first time that we can commit to an e-waste neutral claim with this phone. And that means that for every device that we sell on the market, we take one back and we make sure that we reuse it, either the whole phone or parts of the phone. When it's a Fairphone, we reuse components, or that it goes to proper recycling. And we have two ways of ensuring that. We have a reuse and recycle program that we're actually happy to announce we will be launching the moment that we start shipping the Fairphone 4 to our customers. That will be by the end of October. And there we have a new element, namely that we're able to provide a fair market value for every device that we take back. And we actually take back both valuable phones as well as low value phones, where we take everything back, and we can provide a fair market value either through a discount on future purchases or through providing cash. And another way to also compensate for the devices we bring to the market is the Closing the Loop program that we work with, and there we take back phones from Africa, from countries where there's still a poor recycling infrastructure, and it's quite dangerous for people when they recycle phones in hazardous conditions. So we take those phones back and ensure proper recycling here in the Netherlands, in Belgium, actually in Brussels. And at the end, we make sure that indeed the percentages, if based on what we get back from the European market, that the gap with what we sold on the market is compensated with what we take back from Africa. So we have 100% take back.
Excellent. Yeah. Thanks, Monique. Yeah. Before I go to the next question, Miguel mentioned before that we have an IP rating of 54. I also want to share that we have some additional ratings and certifications to share. So there is an eco rating of 85. Our Fairphone 4 is also TCO certified, and we are scoring a 9.3 on the French Repairability Index. And I saw already some questions popping up that I now addressed in one go, hopefully. Question coming in on a Fair computer or Fair tablet. Eva, can you say something about that?
Yeah, nice question. We are Fairphone, and the strength of our company and the position we've built so far really is as a smartphone company. Yet it also makes us a bit vulnerable if you just have one product. So that's why we're moving also to adjacent categories. That's also why we're launching, for example, true wireless earbuds. We're expanding step by step. But no tablet or computer to announce today. We'll keep you posted.
Talking about expanding, I get a question on expanding outside Europe.
We know there are quite some people also in other areas in the world, specifically also a lot in America, where they're interested in Fairphone and asking us, hey, when are you coming to Canada or America or Australia or whatever? Yet we are we have limited resources, and we really think that currently there is more than enough potential in Europe for us to grow and scale and make impact. But I never say never.
Clear?
Yeah.
Wayne, is the Fairphone 4 waterproof?
Thanks, Nelt. Yes, Fairphone 4 is indeed water resistant, so the right technical term. So our vision is that in order for this device that you will love using it, enjoy using it for, it needs to survive a bad weather day. So if you go out in the rain, you should be able to take a call or look at the map. And also if you accidentally spill water, etc., then it should survive. That's why the IP rating.
Cool, thanks. We get a question about eFoundation, whether we would launch the Fairphone 4 instead of with Android. Eva, can you?
Yeah, I can take that one. Maybe for the whole group of listeners, eFoundation is a foundation we cooperate with, and it's actually a partner. And the Fairphone 3 and 3 Plus are available with their operating system, EOS. And that operating system is specifically geared towards data security and privacy. It is a good partnership, and we know actually the combination of both data security and privacy and fairness and sustainability is a good one. So we intend to keep on working together also for the Fairphone 4. Yet why do we then launch by default with GMS? That is because that also lowers the threshold for many people who don't know Fairphone yet. It is a known and an easy to use operating system. So that's why per default it is Google services, and via you can also buy our phones with EOS.
Clear, thanks. Here we have the Fairphone 3, it has an audio jack. Here I have the Fairphone 4, it's not having an audio jack. We get many questions on that. Also one here from Ingo on Instagram. Wayne, can you explain why the Fairphone 4 has no audio jack?
Yeah.
Sure, I can. The famous jack. Yes, it's a really difficult decision, and we have a number of discussions internally back and forth. And it's a controversial one, right, really, for any phones that without an audio jack. But in the end, we come back to the question, how do we design a phone that will last at least 5 years? And that means we need to eliminate as many vulnerabilities in the design as possible. And we thought the audio jack is more prone to water ingress or dust ingress build up over time. And so we thought that was a good decision. And just to add more complexity to this difficult puzzle, it's about we have more 5G antennas, we have a bigger camera, and we have dual speakers. In the end, if we had included an audio jack, the device would simply be too wide, too long, too thick, and it's not an attractive device. But it's also important to point out that we're not asking our users to just throw away their 3.5 millimeter earphones or headphones. And that's why we make sure that we have a USB-C to 3.5 millimeter audio adapter available in our sales channels.
Okay, thanks. Next question is on 5G, Wayne. I think the question is, do we really need a 5G device?
Thanks, Nell. Yeah, another controversial one. So, indeed, before when we started at the drawing board, indeed, one question that we ask ourselves a lot is 5G needed? Today, if you look at the market, indeed, the use cases for 5G is not widely deployed yet. However, again, come back to our vision, if this phone needs to work well, that you enjoy using for the next 5 years, for the years to come, and 5G being a really critical innovation in the industry, as you will see in the smartphone markets today, then we feel like it is an important element to have in the phone, and therefore 5G.
And Eva, if you want to keep your phone alive at least for 5 years, why are you launching a new phone 2 years after the Fairphone 3?
That is a question that we get more often, because between Fairphone 2 and 3 there was 4.5 years and nearly 5 years. But that also learned us that if you promise users, hey, you can keep this device in use for 5 years, that actually the people buying it in year 4 or in year 5, you need to work towards 10 years of software support and spare part availability. And that is just too long, knowing this industry is completely geared to launching multiple phones a year. So therefore we said, okay, we need to reduce that time between the launch of 2 different devices. But that doesn't mean that you can't keep your device in use for 5 years. Actually, it enables that promise, because then, for example, now for the Fairphone 3, in the end, we need to work towards 7 years of software support and spare parts availability. So it's actually a way to keep that promise and to deliver on that promise. So yeah, that is the reason why we're launching another device again. Yet we are also aware of the dynamics of, hey, now there's a 4, now I don't want my 3 anymore because I feel outdated. So therefore, we keep also supporting the 3s with security updates or cookie upgrades, new accessories, things like that. So it's not that we abandon the current devices. Plus, what already Monique told, if you're really, I'm addicted to the latest device, I really want a 4, then at least hand in the 3 via the reuse and recycling program, because then we actually can probably give it a second life to someone who wants to use the 3.
Perfect, thanks.
Yeah.
Wayne, another question for you. We launched earbuds as an adjacent product, as Eva explained. So can you elaborate a bit on the roadmap, especially regarding repairability for wireless earbuds?
Yeah, thanks now. Nice question indeed. Yes, I think for the earbuds, I would like to maybe go back a bit to what Eva mentioned earlier on the adjacent product. So it goes back to our Fairphone's DNA. We want to uncover the problems in the industry and then see what can we do to improve the conditions. So if we look at today, aside from the smartphones, true wireless is a rapidly expanding sector. But on the other hand, if you look at the repairability, the sustainability, the famous battery life complaints around the industry, yeah, there is quite a lot of issues to be addressed. And if they're not addressed, then there's a huge e-waste problem waiting to be piled up. So we thought an easier entry point would be focused on what we do best, working with our partners, with the impact programs, Fair Trade Gold, recycled plastics, and also really focus on how can we make sure the earpods could last way longer than the industry standard. Therefore, we spend a lot of effort with our engineering team looking at how can we set up a set of parameters that we can ensure the battery will last way longer than the industry standards.
Cool, thanks. Monique, our phone is for people and planet, fair to people and planet. But what about the workers who make the phone? It specifically says using non-union labor in China. Can you elaborate a bit on?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it is for people and planet. And we have very clear standards that we live up to, and we want our supply chain to live up to. So our way of working, that is our code of conduct, that we always integrate in our contracts with our suppliers, and we make sure it's rolled out throughout the supply chain. But beyond that, we also want to raise the bar. So we've been focusing in our former models and supply chains, and are focusing with this device on a few important topics when it comes to working conditions, and that is living wage. And there's a living wage gap that we identify in the supply chain. With our ODM, our new ODM T2 Mobile, will ensure that we roll out our living wage program that we had before also with our new supply chain. And we're still building that, of course, because we just start with manufacturing the phone. But we ensure that we reserve $2 per phone for that living wage program. And we also continue to improve on increasing worker voice, on worker satisfaction, and worker communication. Worker management communication. And for example, we also were able to take on board on our new supply chain 2 former suppliers that already showed improvements in our decent working programs, specifically on the speaker supply chain and on the vibration motor. So we really made an effort to bring them along in our new supply chain because we know that they've been improving and performing well on decent work, and we continue to work with them as well. So it's not only the assembly manufacturer, but it's also the sub-suppliers and our key strategic component suppliers that we work with.
Yep.
Yeah.
And perhaps to add, the Fairphone 3 was made by Arima, and so with the Fairphone 4 we moved to T2 Mobile.
Yeah.
So obviously the whole living wage program is not new,
Yeah.
but I mean it's now again a great challenge to also work with the new ODM.
With the new ODM, and we need to set it up new. Yeah.
All right, thanks. Very nice question from Alphonse about where I can place the order for a Fairphone 4.
There's a whole team over there claiming that actually that is where the real launch is happening. So via our web shop per today, we deliver throughout Europe. We also deliver Fairphone 4s via our sales partners. Big operators as Orange in France or Deutsche Telekom, many distributors. And per the 25th of October, they really will be sent out, so you literally can hold it in your hand. But per today, you can already pre-order in our web shop.
Nice. Can parts of the Fairphone 3 or Fairphone 3 Plus be used in the Fairphone 4, Wayne?
Yeah, that's a question for me. Sadly, no. I mean, it's always one of the toughest questions that we get in these launches. I mean, because for those of you who are following Fairphone, this is what you care, right? How can we make sure we use the same module, leverage them? But the biggest challenge that we see and driving this decision is in the supply, because Fairphone 3 indeed has a great camera, a great battery, a good display. In theory, we can use them for as long as possible. But then if we look at the supply situation, and also the ambition is to raise the bar in terms of product quality, in terms of tech spec. In the end, if you look at all the puzzles, we feel like we need to design new components from the start.
All right. Another question for you, Wayne, is about the size of the phone. Why is it not thinner or thicker or smaller or bigger? Why is it this size?
Yeah, one of the favorite discussions we had internally. You have no idea, man. For those of you, our engineering team in Taiwan and also our ODM in China, you feel the pain. But in the end, again, it's back to what we want to achieve. And our aim is always easy repair by our users at home. Can we source an AMOLED display? Can we source a flexible display, a curved display, a punch hole display? Yes, but the price to pay, at least we felt like would be too much, because the price to make the phone thinner, smaller, lighter, if that means we need to compromise modularity and make the display, for example, unrepairable by our users, then that is not something that we want to do. Yeah. In the end, that's what's driving these decisions. Yeah. And also just to add, even though size-wise, compared to Fairphone 3, it's a little bit bigger, but if you actually have it in your hands, you will be able to tell how much effort we put into just the way it feels in your hands, the shape, the size. Anyway, it's felt a really sturdy and reliable device.
Yeah.
And we're really happy about the end results.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Eva, the price of a Fairphone 4.
Yeah. We have 3 color variants. So, but let's start with first. We have a gray variant with a 6 gigabyte and 128 gigabyte internal storage, and the price is 579 euros. And then we have in 3 color variants, so a gray, a green, and a green speckled. Yeah, there's the green speckled variant. So these 3 variants come in the 8 gigabyte and 256 gigabyte internal memory, and they are 649 euros.
That's clear. And cheap, I would say, but I'm biased. Will the camera be good? Wayne, can you explain why the camera is so good?
Yes, the camera has to be good. And why? Because we want you to enjoy using this device for the years to come. And now smartphone is such a personal device, so it has to have a great camera, right? And we really look at all the available cameras, components in the market, and we feel like this configuration is a really great one. And in addition to the hardware, we also put a lot of efforts into how can we make the camera software more user-friendly and more fun for our users to love using our camera. For example, we developed with our partners a few customized camera filters, and we hope that we will enjoy, love those filter effects.
Right, clear, thanks. I see several questions about people wanting to know whether they can buy the Fairphone in Ireland, which is a yes, where the answer is also that people should buy it through the European continent. Also Switzerland, which is for sure a yes. So let that be clear. Other question: is it possible to use 2 real SIMs or only 1 real SIM and 1 eSIM? Wayne, can you answer that one?
Yeah, it's 1 physical SIM and 1 eSIM.
So you can't use 2.
Yeah, so you can't
physical.
use 2 physical SIM.
Yeah.
All right. In the TCO certification, Monique, a question is it TCO certified? The answer is yes. I answered that earlier, but can you elaborate a bit on what is TCO certified meaning?
We're actually very proud that we're TCO certified. So TCO is a certification body based in Sweden, and it's really one of the leading ones when it comes to sustainability standards, and it's holistic, so it's looking at both environmental and social standards, both in the product and the supply chain. And they do really challenge you on showing proof points, documentation, like showing that our SA8000, our assembly manufacturer is SA8000 certified. So these are proof points they need to see in order to provide us with that certification, and we're really proud that we got that. Yeah.
Great, thanks. And the next question is for Wayne, I think. Will you keep supporting Fairphone 3 and the Fairphone 3 Plus, and will you release new modules?
Yeah, thanks now. We will, for sure, keep maintaining Fairphone 3 and Fairphone 3 Plus. I mean, we are in the middle of a development for a new Android cookie upgrade. Yeah, and for sure we will keep maintaining the software, even improving the software. And on module upgrades, we feel like with the 3 Plus, the module upgrades, they are really good. There's no need to release a new module hardware for camera, for display, etc. So we will focus on maintaining the software.
Right. I think you answered the question, but I still get another question on Android 11. Will that come to the Fairphone 3? And I think the answer is clearly yes, right?
Yeah,
All right.
definitely yes.
Clear? Is there a program for all Fairphone users? And I would like to upgrade to Fairphone 4. Is there some significant discount or compensation for discontinuation of software? I think I address this one to you, Monique.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
what are we doing for our Fairphone 2 owners?
Yeah, so we will, as I earlier said, we will be launching our reuse and recycling program, and that is also for our Fairphone users. Having said that, first and foremost, our goal is to stretch the lifetime of the use of all the Fairphone devices, also of the former ones. So that is what we put all our resources and efforts in, and what we're all about. Then at the same time, there will always be people, and that's their choice, that for whatever reason will want to shift to another phone or swap for another phone. And we want to make sure that that one doesn't stay in the drawer, and that we really can reuse the material that is in that phone. Therefore, we take it back and we provide the fair market value for that device. We will also do for the Fairphone 2 owner. So for sure, please look at our reuse and recycle program end of October.
Clear?
On the website.
Yeah. Thanks. Easy question. Is there a fingerprint reader? Wayne, can you show it?
Yes, it's right here on the site.
Yeah, there is.
I think that's an easy one. We have, I think, roughly 5 minutes left. So let me see what is the next question. Wayne, is there a reason why the 128 gigabyte version has 6 GB RAM and the 256 GB version has the 8 gigabit RAM?
Yeah, thanks now. Yeah, I think the easy answer is we want to provide more options to our users. Obviously, with the 128, if you feel like you need to expand the storage, you can easily buy an SD card. That's why we have the SD reader. But also some people prefer to just have a bigger storage. Yeah.
All right, clear? And we already go to the last question. Eva, there's a question for you about the value chain. We read a lot about shortages and long lead times in value chains, production in China, constraint, etc. What is the impact for Fairphone?
Yeah, quite a relevant question right now. This is indeed an industry-wide topic. We're launching because we secured supply of all the components on the short term and on the mid-term. But hey, it is a topic in this industry, so I can't fully predict the longer term of this. But the good part is that we work with all kind of partners, and we have the flexibility also, if needed, to make changes. But for now, we launch because we actually secured enough for launch. So that's why we're celebrating today.
All right, and to add, if people are confronted with lead times that are, delivery times that are longer, because we also have the Fairphone 3 that we are still delivering. Bear with us, basically.
Yeah, it is a valid question, and it is a valid problem and topic right now. So indeed, it's hard to predict it in the long term. So good addition. Bear with us if the lead times actually get longer.
All right, then I would like to thank you for answering all those questions.
Yeah.
If people have questions on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram, please raise your questions there, and our colleagues will for sure answer all those questions. A shout out to every Fairphoner at home watching this live stream, because this has been quite a journey to develop this new phone the last months with COVID, etc., and all the difficulties we had to overcome. So really, guys, well done. Also, shout out to all the partners. And as we say, change is in your hands, so now know where to order it, and please help us to change the industry. Thanks.
Yay! Nice!